Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing a cheap adventure style top box I bought from eBay. Now just before we get started, it's worth noting there are quite a few different versions of these in a few different sizes available from the likes of AliExpress, Amazon and eBay. In this video though, I'm specifically referring to this one. I bought this one from eBay and it is 36 litres in capacity. Now when you buy this top box brand new, in the packet there should be the top box itself, a base plate mounting kit including some brackets, some bolts and some nylock nuts. There should be some keys for the locks, and there should also be 2 high visibility strips which you can stick on the top box to make yourself a bit more visible. Fitting this top box is a relatively simple and straightforward thing to do, but it can be a little bit fiddly. You do need to have a rack already on your bike to mount the base plate to. I'm using the standard rack on my Honda Transalp. I have then used 3 of the brackets, 3 of the nylock nuts and 3 of the bolts to pinch the base plate onto that standard rack. That's all nice and secure. To mount the top box to the base plate, line up these 4 holes with the 4 bobbins on the base plate. Slide everything forwards, and then from there this bracket clips around here and holds everything in place. It's all nice and secure. There's also a lock on there as well if you wanted to lock the top box to the base plate. So is it practical? Well, I guess it depends on what size you go for and what you're using it for. For me, the 36 litre, this one, is maybe a little bit too small for a couple of nights away, which I've done this year with my brother and my dad. I found it gets a little bit too crammed in there, and pulling out, say, a water bottle or an extra layer just gets a little bit awkward. However, for day-to-day commuting and for rides out, a bit like today, this size is ideal. It's just about big enough to get a laptop in, a pair of shoes, my lunch and whatever security device it is I'm using that day. This strap is super handy for pulling everything down and stopping it from rattling around. The padding on the inside is nice and soft to again stop things from rattling around and keep everything nice and protected. There's 2 pockets here for, say, a wallet and a phone. There's a seal right the way around the lid to keep everything nice and dry for when it rains or when you're cleaning your bike. There's some anchor points on top to secure additional things down, maybe a coat, or if you wanted like a cargo net on top. They're super handy. And this buckle here is super easy to use with one hand. Now that might sound daft, but there's been occasions where I've come out of work carrying a laptop and it's been raining, so I don't really want to put the laptop on the floor. So being able to open this with one hand is very, very useful. There's also a lock on there to lock the lid shut so no one can get into the box itself, and the key for the top lock and the bottom lock are exactly the same, so you only need to carry one key for the whole top box. Another thing about the key is you can't lock the key inside like you can do with other top boxes. The key has to be in the lock and turned to close that lock and lock it shut. Now if I'm being super picky, it would be nice for this top box to have a back pad for a pillion. However, you can buy those separately, so it's not really something to whinge about. The other thing is when you take this top box off the bike, there's not really an easy way of carrying it. There isn't like a set handle to use for carrying it, which is a little bit awkward when it's full and you're trying to use one of these bars at the side to carry it into work or into a hotel or into the garage at home. However, I have had a look online and you can buy some straps that go along here with a handle in the middle. I've bought one from AliExpress. It sent me back about £7, and it is an incredibly useful thing to have on this top box. They're only cheap, they're easy to fit, and they're definitely worth buying if you get one of these boxes. When it comes to wear and tear, everything is still working exactly as it was when it was new. Nothing's come loose, nothing's been twisted or broken, the locks are still working perfectly. The only thing there is there's a dent here, a dent here, and a dent here, where I've dropped something quite heavy into the top box and it's dented the metalwork from the inside out. However, functionally, everything is still working perfectly as it was when it was new. Now personally, I think this top box suits this bike perfectly. I think it looks fantastic on the Transalp. However, this is an adventure bike with an adventure style top box. I'm not so sure if this type of top box would suit, say, a sports bike or a sports tourer, just down to the styling. I will say though, I do think this top box would look absolutely fantastic on the vast majority of adventure bikes. So overall, what do I think to this top box? Well, it's easy to fit, it's easy to use, it's practical, it's durable, it's well built, it looks fantastic on the Transalp, and it is the perfect size for day-to-day use and days out on the bike. And by the time you fit that top carry strap, it's very difficult to find fault with it. It is a fantastic piece of kit. So that will do it for this one. I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe, and I'll see you soon.